Broadcasting live from the Business RadioX studio in Cumming, Georgia, it's time for Forsyth Business Radio.
And hello again, everybody, and welcome back to another exciting episode of Forsyth Business Radio. I am your host, Amanda Pearch, joined by my co-host and partner in crime, Dimtriy Teplinskiy. How are you today?
Good. Thank you for having me.
We are joined in studio today by three amazing individuals and contributors to the community. We are joined by Cameron Marmolejo, who is the owner of ImagiNation Construction, also Dan Smith, who is a business advisor for Insperity, and Mr. Rick Strawn, who's gracing our Forsyth airways all the way from Gwinnett. He is the president of Paradigm Security. Rick, at Paradigm, what do you guys do? You cover more than just...
We cover more than just your assets.
Yes, and he's going to unpack that for us here in just a little bit. First, I want to give our listeners a little bit of an opportunity to get to know each and every one of you. So, Rick, since you're the OG at the table, we'll start with you. Tell us about Paradigm and a little bit about how you guys serve the community.
All right. Thank you for having me here today, Amanda. I know I've been trying to get up here and get on your show for a while. It's nice to be here. Great studio. Paradigm Security, the simplified version is we do everything and anything that you see a security officer, which a lot of people call security guards out there. We do logistics security for the trucking industries. We do hotels. We do homeowner associations. Really, it's we do some executive protection. We do some work in the movie industry.
Also political, right?
Yeah, we do a lot of, I have a show that's called Case in Point on Gwinnett Business Radio.
Every Wednesday at 11:30. Every other Wednesday, sorry.
Every other Wednesday, sometimes every Wednesday, depends on the politics. Right now, we've do a lot of the politicians on that show right as the elections are coming up. Every year, they pretty much swarm in, and I like to give them a platform to talk about what they're doing and what their positions are. When I started doing the radio show, we started doing it for the idea of bringing in more business, meeting people and bringing in people that I can do business with, making the introduction and then following up on it. And as it's worked out, it's about 99% either politicians or nonprofits. Yeah. Because I love giving a nonprofit an opportunity to talk about it, maybe get some people coming in and working. But it still is a matter of getting the voice out for Paradigm. We've been in business since 2006. I'm retired law enforcement, retired as a white-collar crime commander over in city of Atlanta, 25 years ago now. So I spent 25 years there, been out 25 years, and this 25 years has gone by a whole lot faster than the first.
Well, congratulations on your continued success, and thank you for protecting and serving our community.
I like to do it as much as I can, as often as I can. And we do our own training academy. Before, unlike a lot of companies that put them out there, and if they stay with them for 6 months, train them, we train them before they ever hit the road with the mandated training from the state. So we have our own academy.
Very nice. Well, I have spent lots of time in facilities that you have secured, so I definitely feel at ease when I see the Paradigm cars circling around.
Well, I appreciate it. We've got 16, 17 cars now, marked patrol cars, and about 6 golf carts, 7 golf carts.
How many employees is that?
Well, it depends on how many I've hired or fired today, or how many have quit. That's one of our biggest challenges. We try to maintain around 100 employees.
Okay.
It's very hard today because of the nature of nobody wanting to go to work.
Sure.
We've got more business than we can staff. If we had more staff, we could bring on more business. We've got people that are waiting on us because they want to use us to bring in the staff, which is just crazy.
Yeah. You're saying it's hard to remote work while providing security on the ground?
Well, everybody's remote, but they're remote under my umbrella. Yeah. They're out there on different sites. And
for those of you who didn't know, who just joined the conversation, that was Dan, the man from Insperity.
Oh, yes.
And the reason he was curious about the number of employees is because he provides a benefit service.
Right.
Of course.
And I'm going to hit pause on Paradigm, Rick, because we're going to reincorporate that into the conversation and parlay, Dan.
I know,
shut up there.
Shut up, move on. Go ahead.
So he can tell us a little bit about what he could do for a company like yours.
Well, great. Yeah, thank you for having me. This is a great studio.
Thank you.
Y'all done a great job here.
You know, I do have to give credit to all the logoed items in here. Mr. Derek Brooks from Brandywine Printing.
Infamous Derek Brooks.
Shout out.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, good. Yeah, again, thank you for having me. So, yes, Dan Smith with Insperity, and kind of broad strokes, high level, we're a full service HR services and support and technology company based in Houston. We've got over 80 offices around the country that are both sales and support. And, you know, to unpack that a little bit, a little more granular is, I mean, we offer everything and help companies, small businesses, medium-sized businesses with everything from payroll, workers' comp, employee benefits, 401k, and a full, you know, HR services team behind all that to kind of wrap that up with a full service support. So we, you know, helping small and medium-sized businesses with that HR component where they can completely outsource it to us and we can handle that for them. So maybe they don't need to hire a dedicated HR person, and we can be that for them. So, and to Rick's point, one of the biggest challenges that we're hearing from our clients is attracting talent and retaining talent and coming up with ways to do that, solutions around that. So it's everybody's experience. It's a big deal, very big deal.
I wanted to ask you a question because I have entertained the possibility of utilizing your services in the past, and I've gone through the 30-minute, I guess, walkthrough with a fellow on Zoom, and it was a very user-friendly demo experience. You guys provide multi-layers of service, not only for payroll, but you mentioned like the HR component. You totally absorb that tax piece that new business owners like myself know nothing about. Right. Share a little bit about the resources that you provide for your prospective clients or for the companies that you're currently engaged with.
Sure. I mean, it's built on and based on a technology platform. So it's single sign-on. So we're able to deliver, you know, all of these services and support, through the technology platform. But then behind that, of course, you got the people component. And we're very big on our service aspect. We even have 2 service centers, one in Kennesaw, one in Alpharetta. So from a local perspective, we're very hands-on with our clients here, greater metro Atlanta. And again, it's the full spectrum of HR services support that we provide a dedicated team to our clients. So it's not a 1-800 call center type arrangement. We provide you real people with email, phone numbers to access and give you that HR support, that performance management support, payroll, benefit support. So we have those team members in place to help out. So that's kind of a quick rundown version of it, but that's how we deliver and maintain the solutions.
And Dan, what is your normal target market for organization size? What do you guys normally go after?
We are minimum 5 employees on up to thousands. So we're across the spectrum, and in multiple verticals. We handle nonprofits are one of our larger pieces of business too. So we help them out in a lot of ways. But yeah, we're across the whole spectrum. But what's interesting though is when you pull the numbers, our average client size is 25 to 30 employees.
And that's what I was wondering is because, most people, with 5 clients or with 5 employees, they're usually like, well, I'm too small to really, to need the service.
Sure.
But once you start actually looking at it, like there's a lot of stuff that you guys do that helps out even small businesses, really. It's just because otherwise it's the owner or the CEO or whoever that's doing, all that by hand.
And and we're able to take that off of these small business owners, take that burden off of them so they can run their business and do what they do best, which is grow.
Yep. I do have a question, and just out of curiosity, are you able to compartmentalize this? In other words, let's say somebody had an HR director that is doing a great job that they don't want to get rid of. But there are other things within your realm of expertise that you can deal with. Are you able to compartmentalize that so that only certain aspects of it can be brought in?
Right. Yes. Yeah. There's a way to do that. We if you have an existing HR person or department, we'll absolutely kind of back them up and provide support for them so they can do other things within the company. But yeah, I mean, there are ways to, are you kind of going with the a la carte? Like, kind of,
because I know I've got for instance, just with us, I've got a HR director that would kill me if I even talked about replacing her.
Sure.
Are you talking about Renee?
Renee.
Yeah,
Renee, we love you.
Yeah, exactly.
We miss you.
Yeah, just curious.
Yeah, so we absolutely, have so many clients that, that hundreds, thousands of employees that we're just backing up their existing HR department and letting them do what they do best and do other things within the company to help out.
Well, it's an interesting question, too, because I'm sure everyone has seen the Facebook applications advertising, you can hire an HR person for $80,000 a year, or you can use this service paired with some sort of software suite where you're going to pay some monthly fee. Mm-hmm. And so being able to piecemeal your services with existing software solutions, 21st century solutions, integrating computers and software, it would be advantageous, I would think.
Absolutely.
Well, and that's cue Mr. Cameron Marmolejo, and I am so glad that we brought him into the conversation finally, as he is a small business owner, Dan. So we can talk about all those layers of service here in just a moment, but I do want to give Cameron an opportunity to share a little bit about ImagiNation Construction, about what you guys do best, and a little bit about how you came up with the concept of your new business.
Thank you so much, Amanda, and good morning, everyone. Yes, my name is Cameron Marmolejo, owner of ImagiNation Construction. We specialize in residential remodeling, but just a little bit about myself and a little bit about my background. It is in software. Prior to working in software development in Silicon Valley, I served in the military, the Air Force, fly, fight, and win.
Thank you for your service.
Absolutely. I'd do it all over again if I could, in a heartbeat. But so that's sort of my background. It's military, DOD, and then after learning a technical skill set, getting involved in software development, software testing. And that's what we really try to do with our company now, ImagiNation Construction, my partner and I. We try to take something that has existed all throughout time. The building any type of structure has been around for thousands of years, but it's about leveraging 21st century processes, efficiencies, software applications, and taking those things and being able to provide a better quality service to the client. And that's what we try to do at ImagiNation Construction. Our motto is imagination is the first step. And so we aim to deliver a full process if desired. Of course, we have clients that know exactly what they want. They see something on Houzz or Pinterest and they say, I want this in my living room. I want this kitchen. We love those clients. We also have clients that not really sure what they want. And in those cases, we love having those customers as well, because we get to get in there, we get to brainstorm, intimately involved in the design process from beginning to end, or from conception to fruition, as Amanda has said before. So we love those clients as well. We can come in at any stage of the process and deliver a service and a product that we know our people in our Forsyth community and Fulton community love.
I bet y'all love people like my wife that watches HGTV and comes up with all these ideas of what they want, and they say, I think I want to try this to get it done.
Rick, that's what Pinterest is.
Absolutely.
Basically, that's HGTV today, Pinterest.
Yeah. We get a lot of that. Sometimes the inbox is flooded with different ideas, pictures, and we absolutely love that. But at the same time, we like to get in there, and on the design side, oftentimes we'll get a client that'll say, well, what's popular right now? Mm-hmm. What are you seeing? What are you doing a lot of? And so that goes along too with tracking, archiving metadata, understanding what jobs you've done in the past, keeping track of that. And so what is actually popular, what the most popular flooring, let's say, or the most popular colors.
Whatever's trending for the day.
Whatever's trending.
So that's what I was going to ask you, Cameron, is how do you guys incorporate technology into, kind of differentiate yourself from the other wher on
people in your space?
Yeah, anybody really.
Yeah, absolutely. We have all sorts of different tools and both software and hardware that we use. One thing that we really use that you don't see a lot of is this tool called the Matterhorn, where it's basically camera. It's a camera and software combination where you can essentially map out a space, because a lot of what seals the deal for us is the fact that we can deliver 2D and 3D drawings of a space to capture what you have now, then make our adjustments and show you what your space is going to look like before we even get started.
Does it look kind of like the Joanna Gaines when they show the before and the after?
Yes. Well, and that's a product unto itself, and we haven't went down that path, but that's definitely something interesting to be able to deliver something that is very postable, shareable at the end, sort of capturing your remodel. And, this is, and that would of course include video, that would include pictures, that would include plans, drawings, etc.
Talk about some noteworthy projects, because I was looking at your website earlier and you have some pretty high caliber projects that you've been a part of. So share a success story.
Sure, absolutely. Well, we're in the middle of a full kitchen remodel in Brookhaven right now. That's going really well. And of course, every project has its challenges and setbacks, and part of being a good company is overcoming those. But we've delivered something that's really big right now is Trex decks. A lot of people are redoing their decks in that sort of composite. We do traditional lumber decks as well, but we've done some composite decks that have came out really good, and we've shared on our Facebook page, Instagram, on our website, etc. And like I said, we're in the middle of a kitchen remodel. We're also getting into providing support for neighborhoods who want to expand their clubhouse, say. So we're in the middle of doing some of those over in Suwanee, neighboring Suwanee, expanding their deck, expanding their building an outdoor kitchen. So we have a couple of those jobs right now as well.
What was some of the obstacles and, just making the transition from being a software developer into starting a construction business? Like how did you link that together?
Having a great partner.
Tell us, give a shout out to your partner.
His name is Jared Nation, and he is a master contractor.
Is that where the nation part in your name came from?
That is where the nation part came from. Absolutely. Yeah, nation, just like the country, and he absolutely has the technical experience, the expertise in codes, building, craftsmanship. He's been doing it his whole life. And so basically what I brought to the partnership was a analytical and planning preparation, and then of course leveraging my experience in software development and testing. And that's why I think it works for us.
That's cool. Yeah, that's a good combination.
For those of you who are just joining us, our three guests today are Cameron Marmolejo of ImagiNation Construction, Dan Smith, business advisor of Insperity, and Mr. Rick Strawn himself, president of Paradigm Security. And now I'd like to open up the conversation to the table so we can kind of all learn a little bit more about each other. And we'll start with something fun first. And my first question does not go to Dimtriy, because this fella does not eat French fries at Chick-Fil-A. I don't know how he has the willpower to abstain. So I'm going to choose for you. Your favorite kind is Polynesian, okay? Dimitri's favorite sauce is Polynesian. Rick's, what's your favorite Chick-fil-A sauce? If you tell me you don't eat Chick-fil-A, we're going there after the show.
I eat Chick-fil-A, but the only thing I eat sauce on is the chicken wrap. Uh-huh. And that is the avocado
creamy
lime.
salsa. Oh,
there you go. Bingo.
I used to like blue cheese, but they did away with it.
Oh, and yourself, Dan?
I'm with Rick on this one. However, I will dip my fries into the Chick-fil-A sauce.
Oh, I like that.
So I like that.
Yeah.
Very nice. All good picks. I've maintained that Chick-fil-A, that's what sets them apart is the condiments. For me, it's honey roasted barbecue.
I think I've dogged on you about this before.
Something
it's barbecue.
Something for everybody.
I just don't get how people don't see it.
I didn't know they had it.
This is not a sponsored
years.
show by Chick-fil-A, but we would love to become partners if anybody out there is listening on the corporate
If somebody
side.
wanted to just drop some by right now, we'd be happy to try it.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes.
absolutely.
Chicken minis for days. Well, my favorite is the buffalo because it's the least amount of calories. And then also I like the honey mustard. So you can use those liberally.
Yes.
Thank you for entertaining my banter.
Absolutely.
So one common theme here at the table is business ownership or taking care of business owners. So I'd like to kind of just understand a little bit about how you guys get and give business to others. So let's talk a little bit about maybe referrals and talk about some obstacles and overcoming, reaching your target market. And anybody that is prepared to answer, feel free to jump in. Maybe Dimtriy, you can lead because you're pretty streamlined. Dimtriy does such a good job. He's like a cyber ninja. He doesn't have to do anything in the marketplace. Everything he does is for fun.
Right.
And all his business comes to him because he has created such a stellar website. Tell our listeners what you do aside from being a co-host with me on Business Radio X.
Yeah, so when I'm not doing this full time,
it pays really well, guys. It pays really well.
So yeah, my main company is Alpha CIS, where we do managed IT services, which is, we almost act like a outsourced IT department for businesses. So kind of like what you're doing, Dan, with HR, we do with technology for our customers. And we focus a lot on cybersecurity. We do a lot of cybersecurity, managed services, and just the ongoing support for businesses. But outside of that, basically our main marketing thing has been, I pretty much don't do any real outreach calls, but, we focused a lot on the content marketing. So kind of like what we're doing right now, which is great for, one, just even building relationships with, sitting around here meeting, 3 great guys who, who knows, maybe you guys know somebody that knows somebody. You can help each other out, or, help somehow comes around. But
the SEO value too.
Yeah, and exactly. The SEO value behind it is great. The RadioX, the website itself, ranks high. So whenever you're getting backlinks or anything like that from these shows, it's going to really help with your main business.
Visibility, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So anything, images, and Amanda is great at doing the images and posting things after the show. So all those are keyword tagged, so it will greatly
enjoyable to navigate too.
Yeah.
And then so most of our stuff just comes in from people just contact us. We post a lot of content out there, and just try to rank as high as we can on Google.
Now, Dimtriy, do you find that your new clients are more, they don't have an IT department, and you're actually going to provide them IT services that they don't have, or are you getting more conversions from their IT provider?
So
currently?
both, it's a good question. Most of ours is actually people who already have an IT company and they're just not happy with them. And so they're kind of already switching, just looking for another company to take over what they're already doing. Some of them are just people who are like, hey, I'm just getting in over my head. But those are usually the smaller clients because, once you get past a certain size of employees, you kind of already know what managed services are and you've utilized them before. So it's just kind of comes down to,
I'd be interested too how that would play into the insurance side, because I know that cybersecurity and insurance has been in the news lately, in the tech news at least. Now it's becoming increasingly a higher percentage of your budget you're having to allocate towards prevention of fraud and other cybersecurity threats that are going on right now.
Yeah, and we actually had a client that not long ago, they contacted us. They were hacked and their emails were hacked, but they contacted us to kind of help get them out of the mess. Their lawyer was hit with a phishing attack, and on behalf of them, they sent something like 2 transactions worth of $400,000 and $500,000 to somebody in Zimbabwe. Who knows?
Wow.
That's usually a dead giveaway.
Yeah, to a prince probably.
That brings up a good point. Security would be another common theme for the table. So you provide cybersecurity. Rick, you provide literal boots on the ground security. Cameron, you have secured our great United States in the past, and there is a level of security needed still in what you do. And Dan, you are protecting people and their lives and their companies as well.
Absolutely.
So kind of jump in and talk about how you provide security for yourself, the ones you love, for your clients or the community.
Absolutely. No, I think just basic, we're helping businesses, employers kind of mitigate risk, keep up with the ever-changing compliance piece of their employees, whether it's, here in Georgia or across the country. And, certainly with the way that the employee landscape is changing with people working remotely, you have a lot more companies that are hiring employees in other states. So, and every state has different regulatory and compliance pieces to it. I mean, New York's PTO policy is different than Nebraska's, and keeping up with that really puts a strain on employers and their HR departments in some aspects. So, we can take care of that for them so business owners can sleep easily at night, and they're not having to worry and stress about those kind of things, and protect them and really get ahead of it for them. So
provide a feeling of relief.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Rick, talk about maybe like for a practical application for someone like Cameron who has valuable, things on site, like lumber, holy smokes, AKA gold these days, or other things, how your team would provide security on a construction level.
We do a lot of construction. It's primarily major construction. But the main thing is it's not so much the theft itself that really kills the construction person. It's the time that's lost in having to replace it, and insurance will a lot of times cover the theft itself, the loss, but most of the time it doesn't cover the loss of time, the delays that come up from having to do that. So putting people in there to eliminate the theft itself or deter it is key, because that way, if you can the way a crook will look at it is, if there's security on one site, and there's not security on another site, they will tend to want to go to the other site, because why waste the time that may cost you getting in jail or end up just not being able to complete it and wasting all that time when you can go to a site that has absolutely no security and do whatever you want to do.
And then take it down to your local pawn shop.
Right.
Yeah, and where pawn shops do keep records, a lot of times there are so many records that you just can't find the stuff, and they usually hold it for a while before they pawn it. So it can get lost in the shovel. I know in Atlanta we have a pawn detail, and we have all the records that came in, and you could go through them by hand back then, but now they probably go through them by computer. But it's just a tedious process of going through and locating. But a lot of this stuff, a lot of times it's the internal theft that you got to worry about.
Absolutely.
It's people that are on your job site that think, I can do this, nobody will know it. And they're in having the security too that's paying. You got to be paying attention to what's going on.
Well, and to that point, we don't have big commercial job sites like
Exactly.
I think you were referring to. We do primarily residential construction.
But you have that on residential too, especially internal.
Absolutely. Well, absolutely. The physical security component, we, of course, offer our customers lock boxes if we need to access the home when they're not around. A lot of people are leveraging the smart home technologies where they can just buzz us in, even if they're not there. But you brought up a good point, which is insider threat and also physical security of documents. We have
absolutely.
our customer's name, information, checks and things. So security is literally important to every business, and we try to emphasize that at ImagiNation Construction as well.
Is this why they hoist up the welders and nice things with the crane like halfway off the ground so that you can't get to it when the job site is closed?
You notice that?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
That is why. But a lot of people, one of the big liabilities in the major construction is those cranes, because you've got to keep somebody from climbing up one of those cranes. We had one several years ago that climbed up downtown and committed suicide. You're setting yourself for an instant suit if somebody climbs up and they get hurt or they commit suicide. The ability for them to get to hurt themselves on a job site can set you up for as much liability as anything.
Right. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, that's another good point. Let's talk about liability.
Well, the whole purpose of having security is to mitigate the liability. If you can eliminate the problems and the dangers or the people's access, you can't eliminate danger on a site. Job sites are just dangerous, period. Even in the house, you've got stuff going on. But if you can eliminate the access to that, the ability to get hurt, you've mitigated a lot of that, which helps. If you've got security, a lot of times it will help your insurance rate. Whereas if you don't have security and you have no coverage where people can get in and literally fall in a hole or climb a crane or, just anything, cut themselves on a window trying to get in, any of that stuff, you run your liability risks up, which runs your insurance up.
Same question to the rest of you fellas at the table, Cameron, Dan, and Dimtriy. How do you guys kind of protect yourself from liability situations within your organization?
Yeah, we have a lot of the stuff that we do mostly with our clients is contracts. So if it's a client that is, ongoing service, our contract basically says that we're not responsible for this, and this. So it kind of covers us in terms of, a lot of the stuff in our industry, you can say, hey, I was down for an hour. That cost me $1 million contract that I couldn't sign because I couldn't get on my computer.
You cannot assume liability.
Yeah,
for
exactly.
That
and then there's no way to prove that they didn't have that contract or they did. So we just say, hey, we're just not liable for it. Stuff happens, and that's just the way life goes. So
right. Yeah, and I think for us, it goes back to we're just really kind of that protection insurance policy for business owners, and just keeping them ahead of the compliance piece, the regulation piece, and really doing those kind of things to help them not only run their business more efficiently, but enable them to do the things that they can do.
Well, being out of compliance is as big a liability as anything.
Oh yeah.
Because if you're out of compliance, whether it's construction industry, the security industry, any industry, if there are certain mandates and set up and you have compliances and you're not in compliance and something goes wrong in that area, quite frankly, you're screwed.
You're fined. It can get bad Dan, quickly.
I guess you probably see this a lot, but like you mentioned with employees being out of state, I guess it would be hard to stay in compliance, because I'm assuming it's probably hard to stay in compliance with like your local town. Not to mention the state, but then you throw in another state into the mix, and it's probably a giant mess, right, for somebody who's an HR.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's one of the. We had our services team. They come in monthly and kind of give us hot topics with our clients and everything like that. And that's one of the things that is of top of mind right now is redoing handbooks to take care of the multi-state employees, this hybrid environment. How do we address this, and how do we write policies around that and kind of stay ahead of those kind of things? So
do you guys do handbooks too for companies?
We do. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we absolutely do that. So that's a huge help for business owners. That can, again.
Well, it's normally a lot of like lawyer mumbo jumbo, mm-hmm. contractual stuff that an average person can't really just write.
Absolutely, yeah.
Nobody has time to write SOPs, guys.
Right. Yeah.
Cameron, did you have anything to add to the liability or anything like that?
The guys pretty much covered it. The only thing I would add, and they've all touched on it. Obviously, there's a organizational, formational aspect of it, at the front end, and then it's just about having constant vigilance, constantly checking in to make sure that you're abreast of new changes in your industry or local issues, federal issues, etc. So there's a formulation aspect to it to make sure you set up your company correctly, and then it's just about keeping up with the times and adapting your policies and procedures so that you can minimize liability.
Absolutely. Well, guys, I could talk to you for probably an hour, but we're rounding about the 40-minute mark. I do have a couple more things that I want to add, and it'll kind of take a little bit of a personal turn, if that's okay. I want to give us each of you a little bit of an opportunity to share some of your passions outside of the workplace, and maybe some things that you do to stay nimble and sound of mind so that you are your best self, not only for your community, your organization, but your families as well. And we'll start with
Cameron
Marmolejo.
Thank you, Amanda. So important. I'm glad you give us an opportunity to highlight this, because we live here in this Cumming community and this greater North Georgia community. We've been very blessed to be an affluent community, have so many good organizations, so many opportunities to get involved. We at our company gets involved with volunteer opportunities here, First Baptist Church, St. Raphael, Nicholas, and Irene. We try to spend some time giving back to the community from a volunteer aspect. There's so many good organizations. I think at the Chamber event, met Family Promise, which is an outstanding organization giving back to homeless families here in the Cumming area. I also would like to highlight our excellent athletics in the area. Give a shout out to, I promised my partner I would, to Lambert, their lacrosse, all the way up to the high school. His son is in the 10-year-old, I believe, class, and they are something like 3 straight champs. They're going all over the Southeast and just really dominating. So excellent athletics. Get involved in Lambert and South and West and all of the directional named organizations here, athletic organizations, because they really are top notch.
What do you personally do to kind of clear your head and get yourself into
obviously
a
work
level-headed state. He's an avid cyclist and also handstander.
Those arms didn't come from the cycle.
Yeah, I was
baby.
going to say those arms are not cycles.
I do like the greenway. I do like to get on the bike, but of course I like to lift heavy things and put them back down again as much as I can. I think it's a great way to reset your mind, build your body. We talk about the whole man or woman concept, where it's not, it's education, it's spirituality, it's physicality, mentality,
mind-body connection.
Absolutely.
I consider that every once in a while. Get back.
Oh,
to that.
don't you just stay there, mister. We're going to get into your motorcycle days in just a minute. Dan, tell us what you like to do for fun or something that you're enthusiastic about here in the great county of Forsyth.
Forsyth County.
Forsyth. Derek would kill me if I said
I know, right?
Forsyth.
Yes, there's a pronunciation along that. I have 2 teenage boys. One is at West, big into basketball. And then I have my other son is a freshman. Well, he's finished up his freshman year at UNG.
Nice.
So
The
love
Dahlonega campus?
actually the Cumming campus.
Very nice.
So
They've grown so much.
they really have. It's unbelievable, and they keep growing. But the school, that is, my boys do too. But we love going out and playing golf with them. That's a lot of fun. Me personally, golf, tennis. We have a great tennis community where I live, so that's fun to just go out and play. And then as far as volunteering, I'm with the Lanier Forsyth Rotary, which is great as far as giving back to the community. I get involved in a lot of volunteer projects with them for kids. I've volunteered for fur kids. I adopted from them.
Did you?
Yeah. But I have a Puerto Rican dog. And it's absolutely.
How do you know?
Yeah,
because he only speaks Spanish?
No, well, we tried that. He actually doesn't. Yeah, it was odd. We thought he would.
Like the dog came from Puerto Rico?
They flew 50. They rescued 50 dogs from Puerto Rico, and mine is his name is Kobe, which I have 2 basketball sons named after Kobe Bryant, of course. But yeah, like he literally, he's 1.5. He was 1.5 when I got him, and just awesome dog. But fur kids.
Dog.
Fur Kids is coming on the nonprofit segment.
Yeah, shout out to Fur Kids.
Yeah.
They do a great. I mean, Humane Society, of course, does too. I mean, but they're close to where I live, and I stopped in, and bam, have a dog.
I saw them. What was the 5K that we just did? The one that was at Martin Marietta.
Oh yeah.
What was it called? Come on, help me out. Boulder Dash? No.
Boulder Dash. It was Boulder
was
Dash.
it Boulder?
Oh, I think so.
That's the one in the Gwinnett. I have the T-shirt. Come on, we'll call it Boulder Dash.
I think
Sorry.
so.
That is one of them. Yeah, it is Boulder Dash.
Okay, Boulder Dash.
I'm pretty sure that's what it is.
They brought the dogs. They had a booth
wow.
after, and they had like 7 of them. And I was like, oh my God, Amanda, no, don't take one home. No, don't take one home.
Yeah.
But yes, I might consider the fostering through them because I am
absolutely. They're always looking for
fur
foster
mama.
parents. Yeah,
Quadruped.
definitely. So
Very cool.
so that gives you a quick
I like
Dan
that,
Smith background there.
and Mr. Rick Strawn.
Well, where do I start? I do a lot with the radio show. I really enjoy that. Like I say, working with the nonprofits, giving them a place to get their voice out. We sponsor a lot of the golf tournaments.
Yeah, you do. And he brings cigars, guys.
Nice.
Yeah,
Not that I
we
smoke
always
cigars,
set up a
but
table.
He brings
I like
cigars.
that.
We set up a table at the tee, and one of the things we do is cigars is one of my passions. So we bring cigars. We put our own company band around the cigars, and we give cigars away, and we light their cigars, cut them, and so forth. But, it's just something that when you stay involved like that, I mean, I came to Roswell back in 1967, and I've been in the Roswell area, and we used to play, schools in Forsyth. I always used to go to the lake straight up. It was 19 then, now it's 9. But, it's just one of those things where it's a community that I've lived around really most of my life. I left for a little while, went out west and got married, and came back and got divorced, and still here. And of course, we won't talk about how many times I've been divorced. We're not going to go there, Amanda. But
That's a different show.
But I've been married more times than I've been divorced.
That's important.
And you love Susan very much.
Yeah, we've been married 34 years, got 6 grandkids and 1 great-granddaughter.
No, wow,
Congratulations.
awesome.
And I'm only 42 years old.
And
I started when I was 6.
Tell the guys about your renegade days whenever you used to ride motorcycles.
Well, the latest was I was a motor cop for a while with Atlanta. But took a trip, the best vacation I ever had, and that's no insult to anybody I've been on vacations with. But it was a buddy of mine and I back in 75 took our motorcycles. We had K900 Kawasaki's and fastest motorbike on the road at that time, and stock motorbike. But we went out west. We did 4,700 miles in 10 days.
Wow.
We went all the way out to the Grand Canyon, then up through Utah, and then back through Colorado and Arkansas. And we just made a big loop all the way out. So that 4,700 miles in 10 days. Needless to say, my butt was tired.
I was going to say, that's tough
home.
on the rump.
I stayed off of the seat for a while, but it was an awesome vacation. It was just really, it's one of the coolest things I've ever done.
Yeah.
Highly recommend. What about you,
Now,
Dimtriy?
Well, I was going to ask you, Amanda, why don't you tell us a little bit about what you do when you're not promoting this awesome show on RadioX? What do you like to do for fun?
Well, anybody that knows me knows that I've been married to my career for a decade, so I devote 90% of my energy to my enthusiastic company, which is Forsyth Business RadioX. Previous to that, Business RadioX as a whole. I'm very passionate about connecting people, and this is a community of connectors. That's why I've invested in the brand. But outside of that, anybody that knows me knows I'm an Orange Theory enthusiast. And unfortunately, since I had this wacko accident about 20 days ago, I've not been able to work out. So I've been a cranky pants. But I would say I definitely enjoy walking to the lake, which is very near my house, entertaining small groups of people with charcuterie and White Claws, and also working out.
Perfect. Yep. Yeah. I know the working out thing. We've talked about that before. That was definitely some of the things that you've definitely super passionate about. And
you too. Tell our listeners about getting ducked. That's with a D, guys. Ducked.
Yeah. So I was I had a business before where we're into graphics and apparel. So I was into the Jeep industry. So I got into the whole Jeep buggies and all that stuff. So, messing around in the garage has been one of my hobbies.
He's being humble. He totally outfitted his Jeep with like a roll bar and like jacked it up 25 inches and all kinds of like stuff that he did himself.
I have to bring my son, getting ready to turn 16. He wants a truck that he wants to lift like 5 inches. And
nice.
So, yeah.
Yep, there you go. It's going down that.
Better than 25.
Yeah. And then, just working out has been another passion of mine, so that's something I've done for a while. So just like Cameron, I like to pick up heavy stuff.
One thing that Dimtriy and I share, that's why I've enlisted his assistance to ride in the catbird seat with me here, is he is also a connector. So among launching the startup factory here in the near future on Business RadioX, he, along with a couple others, have also created a networking group off the beaten path. There's like no membership fees or anything. Right. You just have to have a super cool attitude and like be able to give high fives and chest bumps. Yes, girls can give chest bumps. Yeah. There's no interference.
I personally love them.
Like I prefer those.
Wait, you love high fives or chest bumps? And
chest bumps.
Take it away, Dimtriy. I don't want to steal your thunder.
No worries. So it was basically just an idea that me and a buddy of mine who I met through the chamber, Forsyth Chamber, we got together a couple times. And we were like, hey, let's invite some people over for some beers. We always go out to network events. We meet people, and we just invite them for a couple of beers after hours.
Cigars.
Yeah, that's optional too.
It's more of a casual setting.
Going through my mind.
So it's super casual, right? We're like, okay, well, this is fun. We did this like 3 or 4 times that we met.
That's how I met Ty. You invited me to a private. Yeah,
that's right. It was me, Ty, and you. I think that was it. Mm-hmm. One of the events that we did, and so we're like, well, you know what, this thing is kind of catching on. We had something like 6 or 7 people, and Ty is over there trying to message everybody, trying to like figure out what time works best for everybody. And I was like, let's just come up with why don't we just call this thing something? So. I was actually just laying at the pool with my son, and he was,
shout out to Hudson.
Yeah, shout out to Hudson. He was running around, and at the time I was just like, well, Brews with Bros. That sounds like a cool name. So I looked at the domain, and it was available somehow. So
shocking.
Yeah, so shy, right? So
wait a minute, and then Brews with Bros was born.
Yep. Nice.
All right.
Amanda's been waiting all day to use that.
Yes, I had to label my clap button. Thank you. Dan, share with our listeners, because you've experienced the last Brews.
I did.
Bros. What was it like?
That's great. I'm glad I was going to shout out earlier on that, but I'm like, well, maybe he doesn't want me to say anything about that. But they were nice enough to invite me last time. It was at Cherry Street over in Vickery, right?
Yep.
But yeah, absolutely. I thank you again, because what I do, and I think what we all do, it's so relationship based and networking. I'm thankful for Amanda for certainly. Glad we met and glad you invited me.
But I gotta get in before the dues go up, so I may be signing.
There's no dues. That's the best part. But also, you buy your own brews, so like you can drink as much or as little as you want,
Absolutely.
and like expensive if you can.
It's basically just a hangout. Yeah, it's a hangout group.
It's a good vibe. Like it's good people, and it's fun. You know, it's a good. It's real. Like that's
exactly it. There's no agenda.
Pressure.
There's no
like you don't have to bring. Oh, you got to bring 5 leads, and you need to.
And you could like come in your gym clothes, and you can
If you want to talk about your business, you can. If you don't want to, you don't. Like, it's really whatever you want to do. So that's what.
Yeah. And I will say for those of you out there who don't care for brews, like you can absolutely come and have a sweet tea too.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it's a cool spot.
Just so nobody comes at us from like a sexist angle, although it is titled and dubbed Brews with Bros, bro chicks are absolutely welcome.
Yes.
I am the inaugural bro chick. Ladies are welcome.
Yes.
Yeah. No, definitely. Yeah. It doesn't even change the name because you're still having Brews with Bros.
Yeah.
Exactly. Woke culture. All right, guys. Before I round this segment up, I'm going to give you an opportunity to share how our listeners can get in touch with you should they want to reach out to you to either continue these Chick-Fil-A or brew conversations, or in fact maybe become a client or utilize your services. And we'll start with Mr. Marmolejo.
Thank you, Amanda. Thank you, Dimtriy. It was a pleasure being on the show. If anyone wants to reach us, and I know everybody has a remodeling project or a friend who has talked about having a remodel done, please reach out to us online, ImagiNation Construction LLC.com. You can also find us on Facebook and Instagram at ImagiNation Construction, as well as via email at office@imaginationconstructionllc.com, or just call me directly at 470-737-5535.
And Cameron's going to come do a shiplap project at my house, although he has warned me that shiplap is like no longer like trending.
It's not trending on metadata.
I like it though. So
has up 2,000 late.
My cigar lounge that I've got that I built is shiplap.
I'm coming over your house.
Shiplap is still cool. Everyone.
Why do I feel like you have like a humidor man cave basement?
I have a humidor that we built when we built out extended our deck. I have 2 6-foot by 3-foot by 3-foot humidors.
Oh, wow.
Tall, 6 foot by 3 foot by 3 foot. And I have my own cigar lounge that I stay in.
Very cool. We got to introduce you to Carter Patterson. He owns Cumming Cigar right here on the corner. You'll pass it. Yeah. Very cool.
Yeah, very cool.
Yep.
Very
Dan, share with our listeners how they can get in touch with you.
Call or text me, 470-786-3186. Of course, you can go to our website, Insperity.com, for more information on our solutions. And emails dan.smith@Insperity.com.
I do have to share, though, should you go online and you just happen to give a Google to the services, at some point reference that you did hear this message and that Dan was the person that encouraged you to reach out.
Yes.
Because it's kind of like when you Google your nearest Marco's Pizza, we absolutely want to make sure that they know you drove that traffic to the site.
Right.
And Mr. Strawn?
Well, the way we get business as a general rule is people are unhappy with their current security, and we get referrals like crazy. But if anybody wants to get a hold, it's Paradigm, Paradigm, Paradigm Security Services Incorporated, ParadigmSecurity.net. .net is the website.
Net gets me all the time.
And 678-684-4400 is our office. info@ParadigmSecurity.net is a good email to get any answer from anybody. And if you want to talk to me personally, my cell number is 404-617-5550.
Oh, that was dangerous.
And do go online to businessradiox.com and type in case in point to the search bar there.
That's
and you
true.
can check out all of Mr. Strawn's 5 years worth of archived podcasts and episodes. Like I shared with you, we celebrated his 100th episode not too long ago, where we got to pie him in the face.
Yes, you did.
It was so much fun. I made sure to get the whipped cream all the way up his nose. Yeah.
And
And
Mike,
then he had
Mike
a
shoved it
meeting
even farther.
afterwards. I felt so bad.
Oh, wow.
I didn't know it. But hold on. Let's do our favorite thing. At Paradigm
And remember,
Security,
at Paradigm Security Services, we cover more than
just your assets. And Dimtriy, share with our listeners.
Yeah, so the best way to probably contact me would be either through our website. It's alphacis.com. You can click on Get Started if you're wanting to schedule a discovery call, or you can contact me on LinkedIn, Dimtriy Teplinskiy.
Fantastic. I want to thank all of our guests for joining us today. I am your host, Amanda Pearch, and I would love to connect with you on LinkedIn too. That is Amanda, PEARCH. You guys can find these episodes 24/7 on businessradiox.com. Select the Forsyth Studio. But furthermore, you can just find them on like iTunes or Spotify or Pandora, wherever you listen. Rick, where do you listen to your podcasts?
Any place that serves a podcast.
Woot, woot. Dan, where do you
Same
listen?
thing, anywhere.
Oh, come on. You guys are killing me here. Apple.
Podcasts.
All right. And I know you're an
Spotify.
Android. Yes, I
Yep.
knew it. Hey, you guys, thanks for joining us today. And until next time, this has been Forsyth Business Radio.